So the problem with going with the flow is that if you're used to just always going with the flow, you get into the habit of toxic trust. So when you're around someone who could be flowing or leading you in the wrong direction, you just out of habit go with them. Maybe because you're a go with the flow type of person, you're an easygoing, right, chill kind of personality. But over time, the habit of always going with the flow causes your critical thinking muscle to atrophy. And that's not good, because not everybody can flow us in a positive direction. Some flow us in a negative direction. And what do we do when we've had that experience in the past of being a go with the flow type of person, but following someone who's led us down the wrong path or led us into a manipulative or abusive situation? What do we do when we're trying to recover from that and make more empowered, authentic, independent, interdependent, intelligent decisions for ourselves as individuals and as businesses? What do we do when that's the case? That's what we're talking about today: toxic trust and recovering from it. I'm Sensei Victoria Whitfield, your journey partner in business. It's my honor and joy in these weekly messages to help you as an impact-driven entrepreneurial leader get and stay grounded and clear in mind, body, and business. My goal with these forecasts, as I call them, is business energy flow forecasts, is to help you increase your energy so that you can increase your income and impact. So if that speaks to you, make sure you like, subscribe, share, give the channel some love so that more sisters and brothers in business like you get access to this information. So the topic of today's message in our larger Stay on Track series is toxic trust. And in this 5 episodes, for instance, the second of 5, we're looking at how our loss of faith and trust negatively affects our ability to stay on track, where we're coming from a perspective of trust no one, right? Or, I don't, how can I believe in me if you don't believe in me? Like that type of a stance in our relationship with producing results, getting our goals, making our dreams happen, manifesting what we want. How do we turn that around when we're starting to notice that, it's been a challenge? And today in particular, what we're meditating on is the concept of toxic trust. Toxic trust applies to you, especially if you've ever had the experience in your life of being deceived by someone, and you really put all your eggs in your basket with that person. Maybe it was a marriage, maybe it was a parent, maybe it was a partner or authority figure, a loved one, a friend or someone, or even an investment that you really were like, okay, I want to take a risk. I want to trust you. I want to believe this is going to go. Let's go. And then it bombed in the past. But what happens when the situation comes around and you're on the line to say, okay, I got to make a decision if I'm going to trust again. And all right, well, I'm a trusting person. This is just what I do. Everybody else trusts them. Let me go. And I'm just going to, without stepping back, doing your due diligence, having some critical thinking, some emotional intelligence. What if we're a go with the flow type person and we keep trusting the wrong people? What do we do about that? And it's interesting. We're going to get into history, science, and spirit with they have to say. about this, but just as a preview of what we're going to be reading, studies show that most people are trusting people. Most people want to take that risk and believe others, even when they've been betrayed. But the thing is, we've got to learn to improve on our skill, because the trust muscle is overdeveloped sometimes, and the critical thinking muscle can be underdeveloped or even atrophy, especially when we come from a background of abuse. This is what I'm hearing my spirit guides tell me to say right now. I feel very uncomfortable addressing this because I'm not a psychologist. So, disclaimer. Although I'm a spiritual teacher and healer, I am not a psychologist. So shout out to all my psychologists watching. Go ahead and comment below and help me and the spirits out in the comments on this. But what I'm hearing to relay is that when you experienced abuse as a child, emotional, physical, mental, financial, sexual abuse as a child, you questioning or thinking twice is out of the question. This is what I'm hearing to say. And because of that deep pattern in childhood, shaming thinking twice, shaming thinking critically, shaming asking questions, that started to weave from the abuse then into school, like, oh, there goes that nerd, always asking questions. Isn't Susie annoying? Isn't Johnny annoying? He's always asking questions. He always has something to say, right? And then that weaves into after school, then into business life of like, oh my God, James is so annoying. Every single meeting he has like 1,000 questions. Like, would you just stop, etc. That there's a pattern, an insidious pattern of social shaming around critical thinking, asking questions, thinking twice, stop instead of go, 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 right? Let's hold on a second, pump the brakes, and let's think about this. Let's ask some questions. Let's take our time to do our due diligence. Faster is usually glorified as better, but faster isn't always necessarily better. Case in point, if you are in a car that has been on recall for the wheels to fall off, do you want to get in that car and go faster? Or do you want them to call the car back and fix it? So before you go faster, should we hold up, fix the problem first? Or, oh, no, we got to hurry up and get where we're going as fast as possible, knowing that the wheels fall off? I was in a similar situation as a young woman. My dad bought me one of my first cars. Was a Fiero. He said he got it for like something like $500. A Fiero is apparently a car that when you drive it around, it could just burst into flames. It could just burst into flames. And thanks, Dad, for the first car. I mean, it is a point A to point B, but I don't know about giving your teenager an exploding car. I made it. I am way past my teens now. Of several times that. But I get it. Gotta get daughter in a car. But okay, how about a safe car? Speed isn't necessary. A friend of his ended up getting it impounded by accident when they borrowed it. So the universe corrected that situation. Faster isn't necessarily better. Watch out for toxic trust or starting to feel like you're rushing yourself. Let's get to the readings then. From Think and Grow Rich, we're doing chapter number 3, which is the chapter on faith, right? We're looking at how to, like, what are the mechanics of faith, how to restore it, how to understand it. We're lifting the hood and looking at faith, because if we lose faith in ourselves, lose faith in the vision that we've set for our lives and our businesses, that could be the one thing that knocks us off track and can really harm our ability to produce the results, to manifest what we're called to. So the selection of the day: no one is doomed to bad luck. So sit back and listen for a sec. From this statement, you will understand that the subconscious mind will translate into its physical equivalent a thought impulse of a negative or destructive nature just as readily as it will act upon thought impulses of a positive or constructive nature. This accounts for the strange phenomenon that so many millions of people experience, referred to as misfortune or bad luck. There are millions of people who believe themselves doomed to poverty and failure because of some strange force over which they believe they have no control. They are the creators of their own misfortunes because of this negative belief, which is picked up by the subconscious mind and translated into its physical equivalent. This is an appropriate place at which to suggest again that you may benefit by passing on to your subconscious mind any desire that you wish translated into its physical or monetary equivalent in a state of expectancy or belief that the transmutation will actually take place. Your belief or faith is the element that determines the action of your subconscious mind. There is nothing to hinder you from deceiving your subconscious mind when giving it instructions through autosuggestion. To make this deceit more realistic, conduct yourself just as you would if you were already in possession of the material thing you are demanding when you call upon your subconscious mind. Tying this back to toxic trust and going with the flow. So sometimes along the way, Napoleon Hill points out, we pick up these ideas of bad luck socially, right? Or these concepts of, oh, we're doomed to fail, or, you know, like 90% of businesses fail within the first year, yada, yada, like this negative expectation. And it's important to realize that that is a negative flow. So we're talking about going with the flow. Like, there can be problems with going with the flow. And so where helpful people want to tell us that, oh, you know, that's unlucky, don't walk underneath the ladder, etc., or it's don't do this on this unlucky day, this unlucky month, or this unlucky direction, etc. If you study feng shui, these are the belief in bad luck or being doomed to fail because you're a woman or you're a person of color or you're a white man or something like that, whatever. Expecting evil. There are a lot of helpful people that educate us to expect evil so that you can watch out. Watch out for what's coming. Be kind to yourself, though. If you have a pattern of toxic trust, you can then latch on to that negative flow, and it will continue to govern how you approach your work going forward, where you'll go into your business, into your creative projects, into your work, into your family, into your relationship, expecting evil, expecting negativity, simply because that's how you were raised, or that's what everyone does, or that's what everyone says or thinks, etc. Be kind to yourself. Napoleon Hill makes a really great point here, that you are just as capable of expecting good and going with positive flow as going with negative flow. And when you realize this, you want to make it a point to choose the positive. You want to make it a point to expect the best and go out of your way to cultivate a mindset practice of expecting the best rather than expecting disaster and being prepared. Right? Shout out to all my preppers who are watching that. I'm related to someone who's a prepper. A couple of people in my family are preppers. I get it. And we still have beans from the year 2000 because Y2K. And hey, that's all right. We're prepared for whatever's happening, but I don't know if those are still beans or if they are now nuclear waste inside those cans. I have no idea, but we're prepared, right? Be kind to yourself. We want to get into expecting the best. Just like you have a bicep on the front of your arm and tricep on the back. Don't just overdevelop your bicep of expecting disaster and being prepared. You want to also develop your tricep, the expecting good and being open and allowing more positivity into your life. Because wherever your awareness goes, your energy flows. So if you're fixated on bad luck, like Napoleon Hill was talking about, or fixated on the negative, that's where you're going to be taken. That's where your energy is going to flow. But okay, so that's what history offers to our discussion of toxic trust, right? Let's head on over to science. And this article from MIT, this is cool. When I first read this, I was like, this is crazy. From March of 2024. In AI we trust too much? Written by Ayana Howard. And she goes on to say, I've been thinking about technology and trust for much of my career. Here's one example. Back in 2011, my research focused on the intersection of human trust, robots, and highly critical time-sensitive scenarios. The research team I was on centered on emergency evacuations and would run scenarios where people were in a room when the fire alarms went off. As people spilled into hallways filled with smoke, we had a robot guide them to the exit. For some of the participants, this same robot had led them to a wrong room earlier. And we intentionally made the robot head away from the exit. People could see the exit signs. They could see the smoke. And what we found over and over again was that even when the robot exhibited bad behavior and led them away from the exit, people would follow the robot. People over-trust technology because they believe it works most of the time, we found. When technology doesn't work, opinions can sometimes swing wildly in the opposite direction toward distrust or under-trusting. People can overreact, but that's rare, we found. People don't generally under-trust. For instance, after a plane crash, nobody says, we need a ban to make sure no one ever flies again. The bigger challenge in thinking about technology and trust is that we overtrust and leave ourselves vulnerable to technology's mistakes. Pause. I'm going to keep reading, but toxic trust is overtrust because you believe that, well, nothing could go wrong. Or you believe that, well, they're leading us. You, unfortunately, in that belief, suspend disbelief. It's possible to have faith and not suspend disbelief, though. This is critical thinking, where we're visualizing and manifesting and actively feeding our faith with positive affirmation of our vision is going to come to pass. And at the same time, There is an awareness of, I am generating this as a vision. I still have to go and do the work. Things could change, but I'm making a deposit in my belief account, right? I'm making a positive deposit into my belief account. That's different than just throwing brains and critical thinking to the wind and just going for it, right? If you're in a burning building and a robot is going that has led you in the wrong direction, in the past starts walking away from the exit, telling, oh, we should go this way, what are you gonna do? Comment below. Would you trust your instincts, or would you trust the robot? There's this thing of, oh, maybe it knows something I don't know. Maybe it knows already, its scanner or something already shown that part of the exit is gone, and that's why it's leading us away. I hope we can learn to use our thinking minds more. I'm with you. I'm not saying that I would immediately just go towards the exit in that instance myself. I would assume maybe it knows something I don't know. But that doubt can feed toxicity and lead towards destruction. You and me both, we are recovering people pleasers. And that seed of doubt of maybe they know something I don't know. I know for me in my life has led me into some disastrous, unfortunate, manipulative, abusive situations before in the past. And so I'm not saying that we just need to delete that. Instead, we need to be vigilant and aware of, okay, over trusting is a thing. Unpause. I see several needs for this moment in technology's evolution. The first, and this probably requires regulation, is that technology companies, particularly those in artificial intelligence and generative AI, need to figure out ways to blend human emotional quotient, human EQ, with technology to give people cues when to second guess such tools. This will help ensure that customer trust in the technology is justified. Second, users of these technologies have to train themselves to be continually on the alert. Vigilant. We need to be vigilant. In January, Howard's talking, I traveled to Davos, Switzerland for the 54th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. I participated in 2 panel discussions about jobs of the future. One called About Robo-Allies, and the other, How to Trust Technology. During the second, which was presented as a town hall discussion and Q&A, I asked the audience members how many of them had used ChatGPT or some equivalent generative AI technology. Every hand went up. I asked how many had used it to actually do a job or some kind of work, and it was almost, but not quite, 100% of the crowd again. By now, many people, especially those in the corporate setting, have played with ChatGPT since it debuted in late 2022 to experiment with how it might write a marketing piece. I've done that. Research a topic or develop code. People use it even though the tool delivers mistakes. One lawyer was slammed by a judge after he submitted a brief to the court that contained legal citations ChatGPT had completely fabricated. Students who have turned in ChatGPT generated essays have been caught because the papers were, quote, really well written wrong. We know that generative AI tools are not perfect in their current iterations. More people are beginning to understand the risks. What we haven't yet figured out is how to address this as a society. Because generative AI is so useful, it is also valuable. When it's right, it really does make our work lives better. But when it's wrong, and we aren't using our human EQ to correct it, things can go badly quickly. Tying this back to toxic trust. And the problem with going with the flow, what can happen along the line is that, as we were saying before, we forget to check the flow. Is this a positive or a negative? Ms. Howard, in that statement, in that article, was mentioning human EQ. Where are the cues? Could there be cues to remind us to, pump the brakes? Vibe check, positive or negative vibes going on right here. Let's take a step back. Let's look. Hold on. Let's look at the greater picture here. Is this actually going in the right direction for all of us or not? Right? There's got to be checkpoints that, how does she say it? Give us cues on when to second guess. Not to say that we should be insecure all the time, but it is good to, as we are going with the flow and manifesting and opening to the universe, and we are getting out there doing hard work and performing and working smarter over time, we've got to have checkpoints that are responsible for quality control. Recalibration, as we talked about last week, every so often. Just like when you're driving in a car, the GPS, if you turn a certain way, says recalibrating. Every so often, not all the time, but every so often, so that the toxicity of the trust is checked. It's good to be a trusting person. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with us. And we want to protect the integrity, the preciousness, the purity of that trust by every so often having a checkpoint to test it. Just a test. Okay, so that's what science offers to our conversation around toxic trust. What about spirit? Card of the day, just for today, as we say in Reiki, is Page of Earth, coming as an affirmation, right side up. Scholarly, dependable, patient, successful. Good news about financial matters. Wanting to do something more challenging, a new area of study. Good news about financial matters is coming soon. Your plans move successfully forward at a steady pace. You may adopt a new interest or a person, a youth who's a student or enjoys studying, someone who can be optimistic but still realistic. Optimistic but still realistic about what can be accomplished. Successful, dependable, patient, frugal, trustworthy. Interesting words in the reading. These are all selected at random. Additional meanings of this card: doing your own research, wisdom beyond one's years, a return to school, materialism. So the Page of Earth, Page is the freshman in college, so like studying, the understudy. Earth is resources. In short, money, but in long, it's time, money, energy, space, and relationships. Is resources. So becoming a student, becoming curious, beginning to study, hello all the dear, becoming renewed in your research around your own wealth of resources. And it's right side up, so this means you already know this. You just need to be reminded that you are intelligent. You are trustworthy, you are smart, you are a good person, you are the decision maker, you can do this, you have what it takes. You just need to be reminded that you have everything you need, and it's time for you to do your due diligence. You are trustworthy. Repeat me. I am trustworthy. Uno más. I am trustworthy. Say it to yourself. I'm not saying this to you about me. I'm saying this to me about me. I am trustworthy. I believe that I am trustworthy. Because I am a trustworthy and dependable person, I do this, this, and this. And because I do this, this, and this, I believe and I reinforce the fact that I am trustworthy. I trust myself, right? So you've got to convince you on it. Get curious about, renew your excitement about your own intelligence and your own worthiness in order to overcome this pattern of toxic trust, right? Sometimes, like, as I think back on when I lost 60 grand in my business on a bad decision, it was because I hot potatoed responsibility for something onto another person that I hired. I just completely was like, you know best, you know better than me, you fix it, was essentially how I went with it. And that was not a good idea because all of those checkpoints that we were talking about with the MIT article with Howard writing, that I could have had of like, well, let me vibe check this. And is this really headed in the right direction? Is this really what I want? Is this really how do I feel? But nope. Hot potatoed that, shirked all responsibility, and poof went my money. Is that something that like has happened to you, maybe larger, smaller, or different kind of situation? I feel you. And yes, that hurt and was like a crazy situation, but it's because I had a story that no, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I don't know everything. Where I'm at now is I don't know everything, and I'm learning. Page. The page means an understudy. The apprentice is what a page is. I may not know everything, but I am learning. And because I am learning, I want to be involved in this process, right? We need checkpoints where we communicate and vibe check me, vibe check you, vibe check the flaw and all the things, so that we're not going into toxic trust where it's like the hot potato version of trust, but instead we're remaining consistent. Now I dropped my action step of the day for us. That completes the message. So now let's get to what's the action step of the day. And always, it is a meditation on school. If you have not yet, go to skol.com/Be Visionary Movement. We'd love to have you. There's room. Feel free to hop in and share it with your friends. If you are an entrepreneur and need meditations for entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs, go ahead and join us on School. The meditation of the day is, all right, get ready to type this in your search bar. Ready? Cosmic Milk Heart Healing Massage. I love it. Cosmic Milk Heart Healing Massage. It's 14 minutes a day this week, and it's under the physical healing meditations. If you're going through and you're scrolling through our vault of visualization, Cosmic Milk Heart Healing Massage. And so the reason why we're doing that meditation today in particular is because toxic trust is a heart issue. It is a hole in your soul. And we have got to nourish and feed and repair. We've got to love on that hole in your soul that is causing you to trust people in ways that abandon you. Go ahead, do the meditation. As you do that, what it's going to do is work on healing the parts of your heart, maybe from childhood, maybe from school, maybe from work life, maybe from your business life, your relationship, that have caused you to have that hole of mistrust of yourself and others that causes you to just suspend disbelief, toss your critical thinking and belief in your intelligence to the wind, and just Give it all over to the first person who promises they can help you, right? Without vibe checking them. This is about repair. Now, we could talk all about it, but the reason why we do a strategic meditation is so that you can embody the teachings. We could say things 6 ways from Sunday, but until you embody it, you're not going to feel better. And when you feel better, you do better. That's the point of doing strategic meditation every single day as a conscious entrepreneur. Yes, yes? All right. So that was your action step of the day. We come to the end of this video. And all right, you may be asking yourself, wow, that was great. I have a million more questions. You know what to do. You should know what to do by now. Go ahead, click the link, victoriawhitfield.com/contact, fill out the form, and hop on my calendar. Ask me all the questions that you have that have come up, right? Or type them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. So what's going to happen when you hop on that phone call is I'm here to listen, to see if I or someone that I know or something that I know of can help you to get the answers that you seek to solve the problems that you're facing. So I'm sending you so much love. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit a like to let the algorithm know that this was valuable and help more sisters and brothers in business find this healing information. And it would really mean a lot to me if you were to share this. Just hit the share button and paste it on any one of your social media platforms or in an email to someone. Sharing is getting that word out. Sharing is caring. I'm sending you so much love. Mwah. You do not have to lose your glow as you grow in life and business. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.